Hi guys, welcome to part 4 of the Venetian board build. Today we're going to talk mainly about getting the colour correct for the canals. But before we go into that, I just want to talk to you real quickly about what I did to the tiles to get them finished off. As you can see around the edges of the tiles, I have got some green which has been stippled on, and that's to give the illusion of algae. I used a piece of sponge to do this, just get some green onto a palette. The colours I used was Game Colour Mutation Green and Game Colours Sick Green. Lovely names. Put them into a palette, just dab your sponge on it, make sure it's nice and dry. You don't want to go in there with really thick paint on your sponge. Dab around the edges. You could do that with all kinds of shades of green. The more you do it, the more realistic it's going to look. I did it with these two colours. I think I might have even used a little bit of the model colour lime green as well. And that's just to give the illusion of algae where the water's risen and gone down. Okay, so now the tiles have been sorted out, they're all ready to go. I actually took those off the board so that I could get the canals looking the way they needed to, again without overspraying onto the tiles themselves. Even though I did use a piece of card the other day to try and reduce overspray, there still was some, and over the course of a couple of days there have been marks and scratches and whatnot on the actual board itself, so I needed to touch that up before applying the colours I needed. So I went over the whole board to start with using Model Colours Deep Green, and that was just to give everything a relatively even coat of paint and to take away any of the marks. Once that had been done, I wanted to focus on the centre of the canals to make them much darker than the outside. I used Model Colours Flat Green for that and putting a few drops of Vallejo's Surface Primer, and that's to give it a nice dark tone. And I went through all of the middle sections of the canals. Once that was done, I went around the edges of the canals where the tiles would be with just flat green. I went over that just to tone down the darkness because we don't want it being too dark. It would look horrendous if you just had big thick black lines down the middle of your canals. So to blend it all back in, I went in with just flat green. After that, we just needed the edges of the canals to pop that much more. So I went with the same Model Colour Flat Green and Model Colour Lime Green. I went in there with the 1-to-1 mix and I went around the insides of the canals where the tiles would be sat, again, just so it pops. It's all very green at the moment, but once we pour the liquid resin on top, which is going to have a blue pigment added to it, everything's going to look very turquoise, very clean and very nice. The tiles are much darker on this particular board, because the turquoise is going to contrast quite nicely with that. We're going to have a nice colourful board at the end. That's where we are. I'm going to be sticking the actual tiles down now. This is the finished look for the tiles. I might add a bit of, I might lighten them up a little bit. They are still looking a bit dark in my opinion, so I might try and lighten them up. But yeah, I'm going to stick them down. I'm then going to start painting various bits and pieces which are going to go in the canal, which will look like they're floating. So a bit of debris, not too much, but you know, the odd floating barrel and that kind of thing, they'll be placed in and around the board. If you want to check back for Monday to see that, it'd be great to see you guys again, and it'd be good to see the progress that we're making on this board. And thanks for watching.